coming up on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Hannah Gordola. Samuel Alito's one step away from a seat in the Supreme Court. We'll see how that could affect you.
Tired of all these green construction fences? I'm Ross Widener. Coming up, I'll show you why the university might soon be concerned about a different kind of construction green.
In sports, it's been an up and down season for the Heels so far. We'll show you what Carolina needs to do to come out on top against Boston College.
Is a warm-up on the way? Weathercaster Miles Henderson is here with your 4-day forecast.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the January 25th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Shaheen Sayal.
And I'm Philip Jones. 2 new Supreme Court justices in less than a year. Carolina Week's Hannah Gordola joins us live in the newsroom with more. Hannah, this issue has put conservatives and liberals at odds for months.
It has, Phil, and that includes right here on campus, where the debate about the confirmation of Judge Samuel Alito continues.
And the little we learned about him in these hearings, I'm forced to conclude that he should not serve in the Supreme Court.
It is impossible for anybody here to say that Judge Alito does not meet those tests.
For Samuel Alito, the next step is a Senate floor vote, but the heated debate doesn't stop in the Senate. It echoes here at UNC. Judicial selection expert and UNC law professor Michael Gerhardt spoke at a Young Democrats meeting on Monday. He testified in the Alito hearings. He says Alito's likely confirmation and the Democrats' choice not to filibuster is going to place the minority Democrats in a losing position.
The minority is effectively silenced in the Senate. And once that happens, then, for lack of a better way of put it, sort of all hell breaks loose.
Planned Parenthood field coordinator Natalie Fixmary says pro-choice advocates fear Alito's confirmation will lead to the dismantling of Roe v. Wade.
It's terrifying that we're looking at going back to a day where abortion is not safe and legal and accessible for women.
Young Republicans Trip Costas says there's too much focus on one issue.
The commentary of a pro-choice group just shows how perverted the process has become. This is about nominating judges.
Phil, Alito supporters hope to have the Senate debate wrapped up by the end of the week.
Hannah, has the way this whole process has unfolded affected how students view judicial selection?
It has. Many students see this process as being very politicized, and some say this might cause them to lose faith in the objectivity of the court.
All right, well, we'll keep an action on that student reaction, Hannah. Thanks very much. The Senate is expected to confirm Alito as early as next week.
The search for the new dean of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication continues after more than a year. Faculty and staff attended an open forum Tuesday to hear Dr. Jean Folkerts, one of the 3 candidates for dean. The forum gave attendees a chance to listen to Folkerts' vision for the school. Interim Dean Tom Bauer says the new dean must be able to adapt to changes in the field of journalism.
And what kind of responses the school ought to make. And those responses would probably be in the areas of curriculum, facilities, resources.
The new dean will replace Dean Richard Cole, who served for 26 years. 2 more candidates will be on campus within the week. Well, the Board of Elections has issued the student body president candidate list, and it's a short one, 2 candidates. Junior James Allred and Bernard Holloway will square off in a campaign framed by a broad range of issues. Junior Jim Brewer is vice chair of the Board of Elections and explains how this is likely to affect the candidates' strategies.
Instead of having a runoff in past years, there would definitely, hopefully, be a majority of the votes would go to one candidate. So obviously, there are not as many messages out there as there would be if there was like 3 or 4 or even 5 candidates. So your message has to be a lot more clear and to the student body, because there's going to be more notice to the fact there's only 2 candidates. If you had 3 or 4, your message could get mixed.
Both candidates admit it will be difficult to reach the entire student population with their respective messages, but they're determined to cover a lot of ground in the weeks ahead. Well, Monday we told you that UNC ranks as the best value among public institutions.
That's right, Shaheen. And with yearly hikes in tuition, the university might not be able to hold on to that title in the future. The Board of Trustees met late Wednesday afternoon to discuss a major set of tuition increases. Student body president Seth Dearman wrote an editorial in the DTH saying the hikes are necessary to compete with peer institutions. As an ex officio member of the board, Dearman plans to vote in favor of a $200 increase in undergraduate in-state tuition and a $900 increase for out-of-state students. Well, with no formal sign on Franklin Street to welcome guests to the university, UNC seniors are leaving their legacy on McCorkle Place this year. Seniors offered a preview of this year's class gift at the Student Union Wednesday. With a sneak peek of the welcome sign they've decided to leave behind. They also registered to win a free iPod, caught up with friends, and enjoyed refreshments. Senior Shannon O'Shaughnessy says the sign is a tangible way to give back to the university.
I'm just excited to bring my kids back to it, and, you know, like however long that is, and just feel like this is what we gave back to the university.
Senior class officers say the sign will make its debut on McCorkle Place in a couple of years.
We now know the name of the bicyclist killed in a collision with a bus carrying the Boston College men's basketball team. Chapel Hill police say 39-year-old Harry Weldon Alston of Carborough died Tuesday night after the bus hit him at the intersection of Little John Road and Highway 54. The accident is still under investigation. BC is scheduled to play the Tar Heels Wednesday night in the Dean Dome. Have you ever put a parking ticket in your glove compartment hoping you wouldn't be found? Well, for some of us, the meter has expired. If you can find that infamous yellow ticket on your car, parking enforcement will be contacting you. The price of parking tickets has increased to help fund a new service. The service tracks your information if you're from out of state. Parking Superintendent Brenda Jones says before the service, there was a problem for out-of-staters. Their notice sometimes didn't reach them before tickets were due.
For the out-of-state people, since we can't get that information as easily, they don't get that first notice as quickly. So it might take a little more time, but we hope that with this service, we're able to cut down on that amount of time.
So pay your parking tickets because they won't disappear. Parking enforcement is strict because empty spaces like these in Chapel Hill are hard to find. Franklin Street's West End is dealing with its own lack of spaces now that the University Chrysler lot is permit parking only. The former car lot is owned by Riddle Properties and was open to the public until recently. Riddle Properties now leases the numbered spots, which is concerning some West End businesses whose customers use the lot. Studio supply manager Jessica Larson says Riddle's decision to close the lot is understandable, yet difficult for business.
The lot is certainly, Mr. Riddle's. It's his property. He could do absolutely everything he wants to it, but I'm just disappointed that he's not filling it with something that's a little bit more helpful to our community. The community is struggling enough to keep its customers away from the mall, and I am just very disappointed.
Larson says this isn't eliminating all West End spots. On-street parking is still open.
You don't have to travel far to see hundreds of exotic animals. Carolina Week reporter Ryan Gwynn goes right down the road where carnivores roam.
Leopards, ocelots, and tigers are animals normally associated with exotic locales, but animals such as these have found a home right outside of Chapel Hill in Pittsburgh. The Carnivore Preservation Trust, or CPT, is a sanctuary for rare cats that have either been abandoned or abused. The trust offers the animals a habitat similar to their natural one, as well as expert care.
The facilities that we have here, all of the animals have their own enclosures, so they're not running loose, which is one of the questions we get frequently. And then we have a veterinary facility at the bottom of our main building here where we can provide any medical attention that they need. We have vets that come out and spend time here.
Now, this sanctuary differs from a typical zoo in that the animals here are not for entertainment, but rather education and sometimes even rescue. The center just recently opened for public visitation, and visitors can only tour the facility with a guide. Michael Blyman is a geneticist at UNC. He founded the trust as a breeding facility in 1981. The staff has since stopped breeding animals, choosing instead to educate the general public about them.
For the public, it's education, so that they can come out and learn about these animals, because people are going to help conserve things that they care about, and they only care about the things that they know about. So we want to make sure they get to know these guys.
The CPT is so close to the Triangle, getting to know these animals is easy. In Pittsburgh, I'm Ryan Gwynn, Carolina Week.
You can actually adopt some of those animals to help support the CPT. Tigers, leopards, and jaguars will set you back about $1,200 per year. You can also save some money by opting for a kinkajou. Its upkeep costs only $600. Adopters get unlimited visits with their pets. Well, Shaheen, everyone's tired of it.
But the end's nowhere in sight.
I'm Ross Widener. Coming up, I'll show you how changes to today's budget could mean problems down the line.
"200 years ago, Lewis and Clark set out to discover an all-water route to the Pacific. But what they really discovered in themselves and everyone they encountered are qualities we can still learn from today. As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we invite you to walk with them at lewisandclark200.org and see what you discover, because their trail winds through us all.
With UNC rushing to finish its bond construction projects on time, green construction fences are almost as common in Chapel Hill as Carolina blue skies. Carolina Week's Ross Widener shows us what's going on behind these fences today might affect if other fences go up in the future.
Construction vehicles are here to stay at UNC. In addition to regular construction projects, right now the university is in the middle of a $1.1 billion 8-year capital improvement bond initiative.
Our work has been like building a Wake Forest right in the middle of Chapel Hill.
Bruce Runberg manages the capital improvement program.
We want a quality project at the end, one that has reasonable cost and has been completed as close to original schedule as is possible.
Although Runberg insists the overall capital improvement project, including buildings like the Science Complex and the Global Education Center, is on time and on budget, he admits about 15% of the contractors end up falling short. Whether it's a contractor fault or not, there are almost always increases in estimated price. Unforeseen conditions like running into utility lines, design emissions, and user changes can add up to big bucks. This is the Medical, Biomolecular, and Neurosciences Research Building. This project was originally awarded $44.7 million, but after additions and revisions called change orders, it ended up costing $6 million more than originally expected. After adding up all of the change orders for the first 42 completed capital improvement projects, Carolina Week found just less than $40 million in changes. The question is, how will these additional expenditures affect future projects?
Looking into crystal balls is always murky.
Director of the Center for Competitive Economies, Michael Luger.
Strategic planning has to be adaptable. You don't want to have a plan that you lock up and then you stick with it no matter what happens. That's a sure recipe for disappointment and disaster because the world changes and conditions change.
Only 49 projects are guaranteed to keep their original scope. Changes to scope in bond projects are rare because a committee must approve them. Housing projects also face deadline pressures because officials need to make sure they have enough places to house students. Director of Housing Larry Hicks says those in the housing office have decided to take a pause, regroup, and climb out of a deepening hole.
When you find yourself in one, you stop digging. And so when we find ourselves in Ram Village escalating so dramatically, in the budget estimate coming through on Hinton James escalating dramatically, you stop and you see what's going on around you. You don't move blindly into that.
Clearly, changes in the process, once it's underway, are very costly. And then the question is, who pays for that?
The answer might be future projects. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ross Widener, Carolina Week.
UNC will spend more than $1 billion on the capital improvement program during the next 8 years.
If you're heading down to South Campus, you might want to wear old shoes. Construction continues on Manning Drive. For students, this means muddy paths, pedestrian detours, and a whole lot of noise. Construction projects include Morrison Residence Hall, the new steam plant tunnel, and several parts of UNC hospitals. This weekend, Manning will be closed to through traffic between East Drive and Hibbard Drive, because of overnight construction. The street will be closed from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Friday through Sunday. Thirsty between classes? Well, about 30 buildings on campus were without water today after the discovery of a leak in a water main Tuesday night. It occurred on Cameron Avenue near the Playmakers Theater. Orange Water and Sewer Authority fixed the problem Wednesday afternoon and flooded the street in order to flush out any dirt collected in the pipes.
Well, plans are moving ahead for a new eco-friendly housing complex on Rosemary Street. The project will take up much of the block between North Graham Street and North Merritt Mill Road near Carborough and will include solar energy panels and rainwater collection systems. Builders will tear down this apartment building and its neighboring restaurant, Queen of Sheba's, to make way for the new housing. Current property manager Howard McDonald says the new project will be good for the community.
The upscale apartments are going to be here, and there'll probably be an affordable branch, so that, you know, the property values in the community should rise because of this development.
Leaders in the community hope the $30 million project will continue the revitalization of Rosemary Street.
Well, weathercaster Miles Henderson joins us now with weather, and you know, it's been feeling like January outside for a little while now, but I think some warmer temperatures are on the way, right?
That's right, Miles. It just seems like it's so windy outside, though, today also, which is adding to the cooler temperatures.
Right, well, it is eventually going to get warmer, but then we'll get to feel the winter weather. And despite the windy weather on Wednesday, there's still plenty of sunshine for Ramses to enjoy. But will the sunny skies stick around for the rest of the week? I'll have your 4-day forecast coming up.
Once you see the world through math and science, you'll never see anything the same way again. Go to girlsgotech.org.
You'll see.
What's wrong, Mrs. Jenkins? Come on, you can tell me.
Well, there's no funding for the new reading program, and I've tried everything and nothing works. It's not fair. Nobody ever gives me funding.
When adults run out of ideas, they can feel as frustrated as kids. ConnectForKids.org has thousands of resources for helping kids in your community.
Mrs. Jenkins, holding your breath is not going to get you any more funding.
ConnectForKids.org, guidance for grown-ups.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weathercaster Miles Henderson. Well, the showers and storms we saw at the earlier part of this week are well off the sea, leaving us with sunny skies for the remainder of the work week. And with sunny skies, we're also going to see a warming trend as temperatures get up well above the average for this time of year. But don't make your weekend plans just yet, because it's going to be a wet weekend. I'll give you details coming up in just a moment. But let's take a look at that satellite map. Around our area right now, it's basically high pressure system dominating, leaving us with basically sunny skies. The only exception is in the mountain region of West Virginia and Virginia. There's the remnants of that system that moved across earlier this week. We take a look at the radar. There's the showers and storms up in the Virginia area. The only part where this may be affecting is around Boone, North Carolina, where they saw a little bit of light snow earlier this morning. Let's take a look at our 4-day forecast. The surface map. There's a high pressure system that's dominating the area, and there's the remnants of the cold front that pushed through earlier this week. Low pressure system is to the north right now, which is causing some lake effect snow in the Great Lakes region. But off to our west, there's high pressure system dominating, and that will affect our weather in your Carolina Week 4-day forecast. Look for sunny skies on Friday with high around 58 degrees, low in the mid-30s. For Saturday, the warming trend continues to 62, well above the average, which is 50 degrees.
On Sunday, the showers move into the forecast with a high of around 59, and on Monday, the clouds will gradually roll out. If you're planning on headed to the beach this weekend, it's going to be kind of a washout because Saturday is going to be mostly sunny skies, but on Sunday, the showers are going to move in. Not going to be a great day for the beach. If you're planning on heading the opposite direction to the mountains, it's going to be a little bit better. Mostly cloudy on Saturday. Good time to hit the slopes, but still warm with high of 53 on Saturday and 48 on Sunday as the showers move in as well. We'll have your ski report if you're planning on taking a trip out to the slopes. If you're headed to a ski beach resort, they have man-made snow right now with a pretty deep base and 13 of their 15 slopes open. If you're planning on going to Sugar Mountain, similar conditions with 16 of 20 slopes open. And if you're going to Wolf Laurel Resort, 12 of their 15 slopes are open with a 38-foot base. It's going to be great weather for skiing almost everywhere you go.
And with the exception of that one rainy day, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful rest of the week.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Great. Thanks, Miles.
I know I for one, am looking forward to that warmer weather, so hopefully we'll see that coming up.
Definitely.
Thanks, Miles. Sportscaster Michael Crow joins us now, and you told us on Monday how the Tar Heels snapped a two-game losing streak beating Florida State, and tonight they have another big ACC game, don't they?
Yeah, Boston College will definitely be a tough test tonight at home, but coming up in sports first, it was arguably the biggest shot in Carolina women's basketball history. We'll show you what the shooter, Charlotte Smith-Taylor, is doing after the shot.
Recycling a glass bottle saves enough energy to run the TV you're watching for 1 full hour. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Making a can from recycled aluminum instead of from raw materials reduces air pollution by 95%. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Recycling all our Sunday papers would save over 500,000 trees a week. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
Un día en el bosque las ratas jugaban. Escucha Smokey antes de tratar.
Solo tú.
No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. No hay nada para un pobre conejo asustado a un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos en áreas naturales.
¡Fuego!
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Michael Crow. Rain or shine, it's always a good time to wear Carolina blue. After winning a national championship and playing in the WNBA, Charlotte Smith-Taylor is back patrolling the sidelines in Chapel Hill. Sports reporter Deshaun Brown tells us what life has been like after the shot.
For UNC basketball fans, identifying this jersey is as easy as 2, 3.
Let's see, Michael Jordan?
Wrong. Try Charlotte Smith. The 1994 National Player of the Year is the only UNC women's basketball player to have her jersey retired. Now here's where MJ comes in.
I mean, who doesn't want to be like Mike? I know I did.
These days, more and more people want to be like Charlotte. Senior forward Latangela Atkinson says having Smith-Taylor as an assistant coach has changed her life for the better.
I like it. I mean, it's one of the best things that happened to me because she knows the game. She played it. She's still playing in the WNBA, and I'm trying to get to that level, and she's telling me things that I need to do. To me, she's one in a million. She's a mother. She's a coach. She's a sister. She's basically whatever you want her to be.
You left one out. She's like my daughter, too. And I recruited her, and she was a great player here and led us to a national championship.
Yeah, my memory of that game is, why in the world did she pick me to take the shot?
Here's the shot, Charlotte Smith. North Carolina's Tar Heels, for the first time, are the champions of women's basketball.
Her intensity level, her work ethic, her knowledge, her attitude, just the right mentality, a championship mentality.
With her knowledge, Smith-Taylor says she looks to give back.
I've experienced so many things having played here at the University of North Carolina and played professionally for so many years, so I feel like there's so much more that I can give back to them and learning so much from the game all the years that I played.
If there's one lesson to be learned, Smith-Taylor already knows what that is.
There was nobody that could stop me.
In Chapel Hill, Deshaun Brown, Carolina Week Sports.
Charlotte Smith Taylor will be on the sidelines for Carolina's 2 huge games this weekend, Friday at Wake Forest and Sunday at Duke, in a matchup between the number 1 and number 2 ranked teams in the nation. The men's basketball team enters a pivotal stretch in its season this week. Reporter Whit Walker tells us what the team needs to grow up quickly if the Heels want to go dancing.
The Tar Heels ended their 2-game losing streak on a missed FSU three-pointer. The win breathes new life into the Heels, who are now entering that stage of the season when making an impression on the selection committee is what matters most. The boys in blue begin the final leg of their quest versus a Boston College team that has something to prove. BC's forwards Craig Smith and John Oates will force David Noel, Rayshon Terry, and Tyler Hansbrough to step up their game. Noel is continuing his high-flying ways of last season, but getting help from a new place. 7-time ACC Freshman of the Week, Tyler Hansbrough. Terry's the man leading the team in scoring, and all of a sudden Wes Miller's hot hand is draining crucial threes to remind opponents that this team's more than just a one-trick pony. So that's the story. Carolina's priceless gem has some weapons, but it's time to put up or shut up to have a chance at the dance. In Chapel Hill, I'm Whit Walker, Carolina Week.
Well, the basketball team will get a chance to put up against Boston College Wednesday night, and the football schedule was actually released today, and there'll be 3 home games to start off the season.
So hopefully a little home crowd support can help get the Tar Heels back into some bowl contention again next year.
Yeah, hopefully it will help.
All right, thanks very much, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Well, did you ever think that you could be friends with Dean Smith?
Well, your dream could come true with just one click. Maybe. We'll explain coming up.
Come on, boy. Come on. What do you got there, Yogi? Huh? What have you found? What do you got, little fella? Drop it. Looks like someone's butt. Man, they probably lost it playing with their kids. Hey, leave it. Come on. Come on.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Carolina students like to learn about their friends with Facebook. UNC's most popular time waster can reveal more about you than you think. Reporter Alex Cabe has that story.
Facebook is a great way to keep up with friends. Fred Stutzman is a graduate student in information science. He says Facebook can tell us about real social networks.
Your friend network on the Facebook may actually sort of represent who you are a little bit more than your friend network in your real life. You can't be friends with everybody in real life, but on the Facebook, you actually have that possibility.
And he means everybody. You can talk directly to God. Or Superman. Even the devil has friends. Although Coach K doesn't. Your famous or fictional friends can tell others about who you are. Brett Bumgarner has used Facebook for 2 years. He creates groups to connect to people.
I made a No I Won't Do My Napoleon Dynamite Impression for You group.
Facebook clubs unite students who trip on uneven bricks or who want to fill the pit with Jell-O. Some students also say that Facebook might be replacing traditional yearbooks.
So I'd say it's taken on that role now from what yearbooks once were.
As fun as Facebook can be, some users are staying logged on a little too long. In Chapel Hill, I'm Alex Cabe, Carolina Week.
I think I'm going to have to ask Roy Williams to be my friend.
Well, I certainly hope you would ask Roy Williams to be your friend before you'd ask Coach K to be your friend.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't realize Alex was going to differentiate between Coach K and the Devil. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how that all works out when Carolina takes on Duke later on this season in men's basketball.
That's right. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks very much for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.